Well, I've got to say I'm very excited. He has joined us on the program before, but today he joins us as a regular contributor, arguably Australia's greatest ever broadcaster and now host of Alan Jones, Direct to the People, the one and only Alan Jones. Alan, good morning.
Stephen, good morning too. It's lovely to be with you.
Lots to talk about today. I want to start with the latest news poll. On the face of the figures, absolutely disastrous for the Prime Minister and the government, but I think we need to start looking at these things on a seat-by-seat basis because it's really going to depend on which seats change hands at the election, well, as it always does.
Well, look, the government have to accept that there's a lot of validity in the poll. When I'm assessing all of these things, and way back when I worked for Prime Minister, I went by state. Now, if you just start in WA, how they're going to vote for the government, no one knows. When the state Liberal Party at the election, very recent election, there was wiped out. Christian Porter has gone. They've already lost a seat over there in the redistribution. Steve Irons is gone, so that seat is up for grabs. So he's got to win 7 seats over there. He's got to win. Scott Morrison's got to win the seats that he won at the last election to hold government and win some more because he's already in a minority position as a result of Hughes and so on. So he's got to win all of WA. Can that happen? Then you go to Victoria and you've got a similar problem there. I mean, Greg Hunt has gone. There's a whole lot of people leaving. Tony Smith has gone. You've got a new seat created for the Labor Party, which is Hawke. So that is already basically a Labor seat according to the demographics. Then you go to New South Wales and you've had this dreadful lockdown in Western Sydney where seats will have to be won by the government, won by the government, if indeed they're a whole government. Then there's the business in Queensland. Now, at the Queensland election, at the federal election last time, Queensland was a shoo-in for the government because there was this great brawl about coal and Adani and so on. The government were in favour of that. That was jobs and the coal mining sector. So all those seats then fell to the coalition. Now, they've got to be all held now, and then other seats have to be won. So that news poll is a concern. See, one of the variables here, Stephen, is that at the last election, when Scott Morrison said it was a miracle and so on, he was new to the job. Now, one of the political realities is that when someone is new to the job anywhere, whether it's in this democracy or in Britain or anywhere else, they give them another chance. Now, of course, Scott Morrison is very well known to the electorate. And is the electorate saying, well, we like the product? Or is the electorate saying in relation to whether it's RATs, whether rapid antigen tests people couldn't get access to, whether it's the management of coronavirus and the lockdowns and yielding to the states, and whether it's a national cabinet which people didn't like, all of those things they're making judgments about. And it would appear that now that they've got to know him, that they may not even be listening to him. And that is one of the concerns.
That is absolutely right. And I said this a long time ago, and as somebody that has known Scott Morrison for quite some time, and I don't think there's a lot of substance there, I've got to say, but you can win an election on spin once. You're not going to be able to pull it off twice.
That's correct.
And that's the problem. But if you move forward to the National Press Club address...
You see, just one other thing, you see, there's a parallel here between Kevin Rudd beating John Howard and the prospect of Scott Morrison and Frydenberg losing. Now, Morrison and Frydenberg on the economic front have some very, very good figures. I mean, unemployment, they say now forecasting may drop below 4%. You've got our growth rates as good as any growth rates anywhere in the world. You've got the vaccination rates as good as any democracy anywhere in the world. So if you look at all of these stats, they're very good. And you'd say, well, how the hell would you be turfing out such an outfit? That's exactly what happened with John Howard. Yeah. At that time, all the stats, all the economic figures, the growth figures, the unemployment figures, all of those things were in favour of the government, but the public were no longer listening. That's the problem he's got in the next several weeks.